Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I am going to be bringing you all this video, which is a part 2, and it's been over a year since I did the first one. And for anyone that doesn't know, I'll try and remember to link it in the description or something, but I did a video called What Modders Hate. Now, for anybody that does not know, and I'm gonna have to do this disclaimer again because I'm happy about it, it's crazy, but there's a lot of people that don't know that I came up through YouTube, mostly through this channel, through the Xbox 360 modding scene, and since I've branched off into other things have changed, you know, that scene's kind of died down, all this other stuff. I mean, I've had people say they've come from my laptop reviews, I've done other types of game reviews, I've done other types of, you know, modding scenes as well too. People have found me through random commentaries and subscribed, so there's actually a good amount of people that have no idea I extensively modded the Xbox 360. Some people don't even know that I really do modding, which is strange, but okay. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because about a year ago, over a year ago now, I did a video called What Modders Hate, and I just kind of ranted about some things that I hated about the modding community, or that comes through a part of it, whatever it might be, just some type of meta video in a way. Well, what ended up happening was quite a few people enjoyed it, and I asked at the end, you know, if you guys want a part 2, let me know, and people really wanted a part 2, and I just never got around to doing it until now, so here's part 2. What Modders Hate part 1 will be somewhere else, but you don't really need to watch that one to fully understand this one. You just need to know I'm going to be ranting, I'm going to be cussing a bit, and you might not like me by the end of it, I don't know, but I'm also going to kind of touch up on that as well too, so let's go ahead and get into this. So first off, right, with most of these, this also comes from a content creator standpoint. Now there's different types of modders as well too. There's people who, you know, they just kind of modify their own hardware, they do software, they create patches for games, whatever it is, they create different types of mods for games. I am kind of the person where I'm not a coder or anything like that, and I haven't developed any hardware exploits, but I do make the tutorials, all that stuff, and I put them on here. I don't really put them on, you know, other forums or anything like that. So this is kind of a synonymous type thing. You might have it in your little sector wherever you might be, but it's going to probably be a little different for you if you're not a YouTube modder like I am, I guess you could say. So the first thing here would be enticing somebody with a carrot on a string in front of their face. And by that, I'm talking about, you know how you get a horse just to keep going, and you just have a string in front of their face, and they keep chasing that carrot and all that stuff? There's people that do that, and some people might still be confused by what I mean. And what I mean by that is, wherever you are, I'm using YouTube as an example, right? I myself, I am the video creator, uploader, whatever it is, and there's people that will come onto my tutorials and they say, hey man, if you make this video, or if you do this, I'll like this video, I'll subscribe, I'll share it. And it's like, you know, first off, you're coming here, I made this tutorial, you know, to help out other people and everything, but you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to like, and as you all know, I really don't ask about that either, so I really don't ask for it in my videos or anything like that. But there's people who, they try and almost do this thing. Now, granted, maybe if it was something different, they're like, hey, I'll donate for this, or I'll pay you for this. Even then, it's kind of iffy, because I've actually been offered to get paid services done, and like 99% of the time I decline it. But point being, going back here, is you kind of make this video, this thread, whatever it is, and then you have people, they'll say, hey, if you do this, or can you do this, if you reply to my comment, I'll like the video. If you reply to this, I'll subscribe. And that's also another thing too. Like, there's actually been times people comment something like, hey, if you reply to my comment, I'll subscribe. And I'll reply to them and say, if you have to subscribe, not because of my content, but because I'm replying to you, I don't want you as a subscriber. And then I guess for some reason people kind of respect that, and then they're just like, oh, well, that's awesome, I'll subscribe. I'm like, no, fine, whatever, it's free, okay? It's fucking free. But what I'm trying to say here is, as somebody who might be creating something, it's definitely frustrating to see this in a way where, you know, you already put out all this, and then people are kind of trying to string you along. And instead of, you know, politely asking, hey, can you do this, can you try this out, they'll kind of try and bribe you and be like, hey, I'll like this, or I'll share it, or I'll do all this other stuff, which, if you want to be a good person, you genuinely like the content and you want to support it, you should be doing that anyways. It shouldn't be contingent on somebody going through a request for you that they might not even do. Now, kind of factoring into that a little bit of a branch shoot, kind of a fork off of that right here, I guess you can say, is when it almost seems like it's never enough for someone and they keep asking for more. And again, this might be if you are creating a patch, if you're writing code, if you're creating a service, anything like that, whatever it is. I know Ice Enhancer, for example. For anyone that doesn't know, Ice Enhancer is a crazy visual mod that was on Grand Theft Auto 4, and I think they did it on Skyrim, I want to say, but that guy ended up quitting because he got so much backlash from the community. He did an amazing mod, but he got so much backlash from the community, and also people just kept asking for more and more and more, and it kind of just, broke him down. He cracked. He said, I'm done. This is the final release. That's it. I'm not working on it anymore. And there's also times where it's like that as well, too, if there's any types of videos. Now, there's also going to be, some examples here that I'm sharing, but one of them, for example, that's kind of recent, I made a tutorial that showed how to re-download PT on your PlayStation 4. Now, what ended up happening, the reason why I did that is because for anyone that doesn't know, PT is one of my all-time favorite gaming experiences, and it is a game that you could download exclusively on the PS4, but because it was a teaser for Silent Hills, which got canceled by Konami, Konami also took away PT, so you can no longer re-download it. But there is a way, if you have an account that has PT downloaded, you can go in and you can re-download it from there using a certain type of, some steps and all that stuff, and that's why I made that video showing how to do it, and people were able to replicate it with success, which is great. But this is just one example, right? Some people might say, oh, that's not a good example. Whatever. This is the one I'm thinking of, right? What happened was there were then people who were asking, like, I go through, I make this tutorial and everything, and people asked, hey, can you give us an account that has PT on it? And I'm like, no, that's not my responsibility. No, I found the links, I credited the people who did the tutorials originally, I showed them in video form, I showed all the other stuff here, and I just said, I passed it on to you all. I said, here's all the tools you need. The only step you need to do at this point is you just need to get a hold of an account that has PT on it. But then even that, it almost feels like that is way too much for some people. Now, granted, some people might not be able to get that, but sometimes they might be mad at the content creator or the person writing the tutorial for not providing that. And that is like the same thing with many other services as well, too. You might be doing a console modification service, for example, where you say, I'm going to do A through X, you need to do Y and Z, but that person might hound you and be like, hey, can you just do Y and Z for me? And if you don't do it, guess what? You're the asshole, because you didn't do the things that you said you weren't going to be doing. Logical, right? I mean, it's great. It's great. It really is. Now, when it comes to questions as well, too, I understand there are comment sections available, and I understand that's going to be all that stuff. So if people have issues, if they need tech support, anything like that, they can normally Google, they can post on a public message board, they can post on a YouTube comment, whatever they want to do, or they can even message people if they have to through private messages, anything like that. But what gets bad about that is when people ask and spam all over social media, and this, I touched on it a little bit in part 1, but it's not just social media, no. This actually extends out to video game services as well, too. And so, for example, let's say I make some videos on here, right? And then people, they start messaging me on my Facebook page. They message me on my Twitter, on my Instagram. Those are places where it's like, hey, if you have an issue, it's probably best to kind of look it up or ask within the video or within the confines of YouTube instead of hopping onto all these other places. Some people might say, oh, well, Mario, they don't have a YouTube account. Man, who the fuck doesn't have a YouTube account at this point? Honestly, who doesn't? Google is a free service. All you need is a Google account. I don't get it. Like, that used to be a legitimate concern now, but it's like, dude, if it's 2016 and you don't have a Google account, what the fuck are you doing on the internet, honestly? Now, going back to this, it kind of depends on the person. I myself, I'm one of those people, I will say, hey, the YouTube stuff is going to stay on YouTube, but other people might be open more or less to, answering all those tech questions and everything. Now, the reason why I don't do that is because, for example, if there is a small problem you have and 20 people personally message me about it, even if I reply to those 20 people, that doesn't solve the problem for everyone in the multiverse here. Now, what would happen is if some people commented and either I or other people replied with solutions, that's available in a public space instead of a private space, and therefore that will be easier to find the solution for when people look up those issues on Google. To anybody who might be doubting that, I have found I have found resolutions to several issues I've had through YouTube comments that I found through Googling, and it just, ends up caching the YouTube comments in a certain video, and I find them, I'm like, oh, that's actually the solution I need. Perfect. I didn't even have to watch the video for it. I just found it right there. But the worst part of this right here, staying on this point, is the video game networks. Now, granted, there might be some people that do this, right? They might be talking over Steam or Xbox Live or PlayStation Network. I myself don't do that. If you know me at all, I don't send messages, or I very, very rarely send messages over PlayStation Network or Xbox Live or anything like that, just because most of the time there's only a few people I'm going to be playing with, and to communicate with those people, I have other means to communicate through them, both privately and publicly. If you don't have my phone number, if you don't have an email or anything, I got a Twitter. There's things like that too, so I'm open, I'm available to that. But the thing I have seen is there are a lot of people who, and it's not just, somebody they message me and they say, yo, hey, what's up? I like your concert, I like this video, I wanted to send you a friend request. No, it is the people who actually go on to Xbox Live and will send big paragraphs and detailed messages asking about tech support issues. While as I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I'm on my couch. I'm trying to relax and play a game. I don't get on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or anywhere else for tech support. I get on those to relax, I get on those to play my games, all that stuff. I'm not trying to do my tech support on there, alright? And if you need that tech support, there's Google, there's modding forums, there's YouTube available, there's all these other places, Reddit as well too. Reddit has several subreddits now where you can ask about things on there. So that's kind of how that's all happened. I honestly think the funniest part of that, though, is when people will try and send me business inquiries through Xbox Live, and I'm like, dude, you're sending this through the worst possible medium you can, like, nothing. I mean, this isn't even like an email system, or even YouTube messaging would be better, because you actually have, a history and all that right there. Xbox Live's gonna delete after 30 days, mind you, but still, I'm like, I'm not trying to do business over here, man, honestly. And to anybody who might be thinking that I'm unwarranted in complaining about that, this is quite similar to having a work phone, right? And I understand, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do have jobs and everything, and I'm sure there's also a lot of people that might have a phone through work. Other people might not, and I understand. But if you have not had one, let me explain. Oh, and if you do have one, let me try and, relate it to you. This is like you have a job, right? And you have a work phone that is paid for and assigned to you through work, and you also have a personal phone. So let's say, you have this cell phone that work pays for, and that's only for work stuff, and then you have your personal cell phone that's for all your personal stuff. That's easily. But after hours, you get off at 5 p.m., and at like 7 or 8 p.m., your manager starts blowing up your personal phone. They don't even try to hit you up on the business phone, which the business is paying for. No, they're hitting you up on the personal line because they're saying, oh, hey, I'm definitely going to be able to get a hold of this person, but you don't use your personal phone for that. And that's kind of the same thing. When I get on these networks, I'm just trying to play my games. I'm just trying to relax. I'm not trying to do any of this tech support stuff. And by the way, if anybody sends me any messages about that, you're not going to get a reply. So nobody's ever gotten a reply to any of those inquiries. I don't do it. Now, I've talked about entitlement a little bit before, and this is something that can really kill anyone's drive. But it's when people act completely entitled and they act offended when you don't get back with them either immediately or in a timely manner or reply to them properly or anything like that. And that kind of factors into a bit of ungratefulness as well too. But as I said, this is what kills off a lot of people's modding passions because of the communities, how they're set up, anything like that. So this could be anything from a type of request to just asking a question, and then all of a sudden you kind of start flaming this person because they're not replying to you. They might not want to reply to you. They might not have the time to reply to you, anything like that. Or you get used to them replying to you, and when they don't, all of a sudden you completely flip out about it. Not cool at all. It's just a huge sense of entitlement, and it is a privilege that you are able to do these things. You're able to get online, you're able to try all this stuff out. There's not going to be a requirement between you and this other party unless you all have, come to a business agreement or anything like that. But even I myself, sometimes there are friends that I'm not able to get back to immediately. It's not even for this modding stuff. It's just for personal things, whatever it is. And that's fine. Now, I've had some friends that completely flip out about it, all this stuff. Sometimes I explain it to them. Some of those people were not friends anymore because they took it way out of context and blew it completely up. But when it comes to this online stuff right here, just don't do it, man. Just don't, okay? If you can't get a reply out of someone, just move on. Try and talk to someone else. Look it up online, whatever it is. Just don't be pressuring them. Now, this right here, Can you all explain this to me, please? Because I don't get this. I really don't understand it. Now, this is going to be, again, these are all kind of related on YouTube because this is my platform that I mostly, you know, broadcast on everything. But this also goes the same for giant threads and tutorials and all that online that are on, you know, public message boards and everything like that. It's when a person ends up leaving a comment, asking a question, or just leaving a comment, mostly asking a question about the topic that is at hand, without fully reading or watching whatever it is. So for example, and this is not just, the funny thing is, it's happened a few times in my job, my professional career as well too. Normally it's a lot better than that. But when it comes to something like this, for example, I'll share one thing. I don't even remember what it was, but there was some type of tutorial or some type of video that I made. And there was a question that was asked. And this person asked, is this feature available, or can you do this? And I didn't reply to it, because I was just like, well, most of the time, honestly, if somebody asks a question and I answer it in the video, I don't answer their question in the comment section, because my logic is I've answered it in the video, therefore I don't need to answer it in text right here. But there's some people that will just watch, I don't know, 30 seconds of it, or just read the first like paragraph in a 20 paragraph type thing, and then ask whatever question it is. So somebody asked the question, right? And what happened, I remember I had seen this comment thread, and there was one person that replied to them, and they said something like, "Dumbass, did you watch the video or not?" And then this person said, "No, I didn't watch the video." So then I actually came in and I asked, if you didn't watch the video which answered this question, and you asked the question, why did you comment? And then this person said, because I didn't have time and I thought it would be faster doing this. And then the other person came back in and they said, hey, you need to make time for this. But there was a lot more profanity and other things that were used between those parties and all that stuff. Now, some people might try and justify this, but here's the thing. Here's the question I have, right? Because this is what I don't understand. Let's say this video is 5 minutes long, right? So you are waiting for replies for 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it might be, even 2 hours, okay? Let's say that. Point is, you're waiting longer for a reply than it would be to watch that video. And then in addition to that, this is the thing. Somebody please explain this to me. A person says they think it's faster or they don't have the time to, but yet they will reply multiple times to the thread or to other people. And I'm like, with all the time that you have spent, you know, loading up your browser, going into the app, typing up this comment, replying to it, quoting it, anything like that, that could have been, you would have spent less time watching the video once and getting your answer as opposed to getting into a flame war with this person. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here, right? The last thing, because this is going to be a really long, I actually have other points, but this is just getting to be way too long. This is when people don't properly explain themselves. And by that, I mean, somebody will send you a picture, right? Or they'll just ask, they'll say, I need help. What do I do? Help me. And there's times I want to take this, like somebody will just say something like, I need help. And I haven't done it. Just let me know if this is a good idea. What I kind of want to do, I've thought about it sometimes, but I'm kind of a nice person at the same time, even though people might think I'm a dick. I don't know. I might be. I don't know. I really don't. I think most of the time I'm pretty nice. But what I'm trying to say here is I want to kind of try a thing where if somebody just says something completely out of context or no context, they give no detail, they just say, I need help. I kind of want to message them something, or not message, but reply them and say something like, sometimes when it's 20 degrees outside, I'll go outside and lick the tires of my car. And then if they reply and get mad and they're just like, dude, what the fuck? You didn't help me. What was the point of that? I'm like, oh, I just echoed what you did. You ended up putting up a comment here with no type of context, no detail or anything like that, and it was completely random. So what I did was I also put up a comment here out of context without very much detail to the situation and just made a completely random statement. Because you did that, so I can do the same damn thing, except maybe I can do it better because I'm going to generate a laugh. Now this, right, I'm going to bring up a specific example here, okay? And I try not to bring up names or anything like that, mostly due to the fact that I just don't want, you know, any witch hunts or anything like that. But, you know, a few months ago, there was a gentleman who was following me on social media and everything, and what ended up happening was they did this right here. Now, I was shown a tutorial how to downgrade the Nintendo 3DS, and they ended up messaging me a picture. And it just said, what do I do? And I look at it and I'm like, Okay, ignore. That's it. That was really my reaction. Then about a day later, they start spamming me. Like every time I comment, every time I reply, every time I make a post, anything like that, they're just saying things like, help me, I need help, a reply would be great. Again, not giving any type of context. So what I did, right, I thought I was doing a really good service. What I did was I was pretty sure what the issue was. So I went to, let me Google that for you, right? Fantastic site, absolutely fantastic site. Let me Google that for you. And I typed in what I thought his issue was. And I generated the link for that and gave it to him. Now, in case you don't know what let me Google that for you is, it essentially points someone to something, and it's supposed to, you're supposed to kind of train this person, right? If you do it enough times, that's the hope of it, okay? To now Google these answers or these questions later on. So what happened is then, when I replied, this guy immediately replies with that picture, and he asked something along the lines of, yeah, do I need a gateway card for this? And I'm sitting there, and I don't think I'm unjustified here. I really don't, because I double-checked this with another friend. This is a few months ago. We kind of brought up randomly, and I double-checked this with a random friend, and he asked the exact same thing that I asked. Now, I didn't ask this guy directly, but he asked the exact same thing I asked. And I thought out loud, did this guy see the video? Because here's the thing, if you watch the video, and somebody, you're more than welcome to go back into the video, analyze it frame by frame, and show me exactly where I used a fucking gateway card. I'll save you some time. I never once used a gateway card in that video, which is how, then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, how the hell does this guy add something else to the equation, add something else into the mix that wasn't even there? It's like you're following, you open up a cookbook, right? And you find a recipe on how to bake a carrot cake, and then you end up emailing the person who typed up that recipe, and you email them and ask, hey, I just want to know, where do I put my shoes? Like, what the fuck does that, where were shoes? Where were shoes in the mix? Unless there's a mix of carrot cake that requires shoes, but that's what I don't get. I feel better. I feel better. All right. Okay. Now, to anybody who might think I'm a very violent, crazy person, I promise I'm not. I've just been doing this for a while. So I was doing modding way before YouTube, and YouTube just really increased it because, you know, there's so many people on here and more people on the internet, more people in the world and everything. So all this stuff gets magnified and amplified and all that. And even this thing here, you know, I've been doing this since 2011. So yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, I think that might be the end of this video. This video has gone on for quite a bit, and if you all want part 3, let me know. And by the way, if you are a person, now I wanted to bring this up, right? Because as I said, some people, they might not like me after this video, anything like that. And I put that disclaimer in my first video, but this is also going to be the second one. I have a feeling if you watch this video and after this video, or you're at the end here, you don't like me, I have a suspicion that you are most likely a person who exhibits at least one of the behaviors that I spoke about in here. And I guess how can I say it? If you are and you continue to do this and you know that you're screwing up and everything, fuck you. That's what I could say. Okay, that's about all. Actually, no. We have to make this interactive. Okay. So, look, I'm going to put this clip in here, and the other night I went to a Logic show. Now, it's not like a place you go to think about the world and all that. No, Logic is a rapper. I really enjoy his content. I highly recommend you all check him out if you all are into rap and hip-hop. He has like 4 mixtapes that he put out for free, excellent mixtapes, and he has 2 albums, and he's currently touring on his 2nd album while I'm recording this. But what happened was I saw him a few nights ago, and he had this thing. I recorded a little bit of footage and everything, and I want to make this interactive. This is going to be an interactive ending between you and I, right? Okay, so I'm just going to use this little clip here. I don't think there's going to be any issue with it because I'm putting it into a video where I'm able to, you know, create my own transformative work and everything, so I'm claiming fair use on this. Plus, to my knowledge, there's nothing, you know, there's not going to be any copyrighted music in this clip or anything, right? But we're gonna make this interactive, so you might have to chant a little bit. If you want to, feel free. It's all good, and we'll go ahead and get started with this, right? Okay, so if you are a person who entices people, tries to bribe them with the carrot on string tactic. You see how this works, right? So, like, every time I bring that up, you know, that clip comes in. Okay, we're gonna do it for the other thing. If you are a person who does any of these types of things, If you're trying to figure all this stuff out right here, and you're wanting to learn more, but you are completely lazy and you don't want to put in any of the effort, if you're not actively trying to input the effort and everything into all of this right here, and you want to learn as much as you can, but you have to resort to either being a script kiddie or hounding after these people or creators or anything like that and wrongfully blaming them for things. If you have now seen this video and my first part, and you exhibit any of those symptoms and actively do it, and you don't want to change your ways, if you like Fruit Loops, wait, no, never mind. I like Fruit Loops personally, so I'm not gonna do that. But see, that was fun, wasn't it? So that was the context with that was when we were at the concert. Every single time we were asked if we wanted to go home, we would have to all yell "fuck you." So I just wanted to bring that little piece of enjoyment to you all. But anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you all have anything you want to rant about, you can go ahead and do it down below in the comment section. All that, I'd love to read your comments. And if you all want a part 3, please let me know. And yeah, I guess I'll sign off here, real this time. Later, everyone.